This is huge for Team Canada Slopestyle on the men's side. This is a story that had to break out. Brad J with you here. Access Media TV, snowboarding, what it's all about, breaking down the snowboarding action for you. All competitive snowboarding action. You're going to get that right here, brand new show. And we're going to be crushing it all the way through the Olympics. So that's the story. Hey, this episode is dedicated to Luke, the dingo, who we lost last year at the end of winter. I mean, a lot of personalities come in and out of snowboarding, but this is a man who left his mark on everyone from the show Danny and the Dingo to everything that Luke has meant. So, in dedication to the Dingo, that's what the show's all about. Let's get down to business. This is huge for Team Canada Slopestyle. And look, you're going to hear me talk about the juggernaut, which is Olympic snowboarding in Canada, because slopestyle for Team Canada has always been on the forefront. And look, how would it not? You've had Max Perot, Sebastian Toutant, and Mark McMorris literally carrying the torch all these years. And just when you thought maybe there's a chink in the armor, now that the guys are getting older, you've seen Max Perot, he's dropped out. Also, Sebastian Toutant focusing on other things. But Mark McMorris stays solid, and he still is competing in a big way. But he's got other guys from Team Canada pushing, Brearley and Spalding, inspired by McMorris to push Canada's slopestyle legacy to new heights in Milano Cortina 2026. And that's the showdown. Mark McMorris wants to get something other than a bronze medal, I imagine, in slopestyle, because that's what he's got. The last three Olympics, the only three Olympics that slopestyle has been contested, Mark McMorris has come up bronze. And now he's got some dudes to push him. That's what I'm talking about. And one of the guys that you have to look to who's pushing is going to be Liam Brearley. Liam Brearley, he has done quite well, and he's been putting the pressure on, and he's adding to it. Because when you look at how many guys and girls get picked to represent the country, it's about four. So you're going to get four dudes, four girls that are going to represent their respective countries. And that's usually how the numbers go. Not every country does that, but Canada and the U.S. definitely are two countries that try to go with that. So would Liam Brearley be in your pick? I think it would. I think you would have Liam Brearley on your pick, because the kid's been on the upcome. He's been doing it in a big way, and he's showing up. He's getting results. So he's a guy, look to probably definitely represent Canada coming up in Milano Cortina. So then you got to look at other guys too as well. It's not just Liam. Let's take a look at the Cam Spalding, right? Two-time World Cup winner, 4 World Cup podiums, World Junior as well, medal from that. Cam Spalding is doing his best to push his way in there. So you look at those two guys alone, Brearley and Spalding, putting the pressure on. It's not really pressure, because if you're really going to be able to pick 4 guys, Mark McMorris is always going to be in your conversation, because he's the OG legend when it comes to slopestyle for Team Canada. He's been in the heat of things for a long time, and he continues to stay on top of his game. So it'll be tough for these youngsters. Not youngsters, but you know what I'm saying. When you're an old guy, you call everyone youngsters, like, get off my lawn, stuff like that. But Mark McMorris and these guys pushing each other. So it's good to see some of that going back and forth with Team Canada. But who's going to – we look at Liam Brearley. We've seen him. Let's take a look at Mark Cam. We got Cam. All right, let's take a look at Mark McMorris. There you go. One-time world champ. Not scared. 4-time World Cup winner, which is – you look at that number and you're like, how's he only a 4-time World Cup winner? Kind of weird when you look at it that way, because he's been at it for so long. You'd think more of 3-time Olympic medals. Those are bronze. Talked about those as well. So Mark McMorris still at the forefront doing his thing, and he will continue to be the lead. I mean, not that there's a captain on the team, but if there is a captain, I got to think Sparky and Mark McMorris is that. And now who's going to be the other guys on the team? You got Nicholas Frambois. He's in there. Eli Bouchard as well. Frank, don't call me Francis Jobin in there as well. Truth Smith. Those are all guys that are going to try and vie for those 4 spots to represent Team Canada coming up in the Olympics. So that's big stuff there. Let's take a look at the schedule. These are qualifiers that I'm talking about now. Here's the schedule. Let's go ahead and break that down. Look at how many big air competitions there are right off the bat. So 3 out of the first 4 of those World Cups, those are big air. And you see it. Secret Garden, we started off there. The next one, and these are qualifiers too as well. They're World Cups, but look at these as Olympic qualifiers to make your prospective team and show that you deserve to represent. And the first 2, big air. The Secret Garden, the third one, that's halfpipe. And then Steamboat, I'll be in attendance for that one to call big air. And look, that's 3 out of freaking 4. That's 3 out of 4 that we're talking about to start the things off. And then we move over to Copper. I'll be out there for the halfpipe competition as well at Copper. And then Calgary will be just halfpipe out there. And then Aspen on the same venue that X Games takes place on. That is where things will wrap up for the U.S. side of things. And that will be in slopestyle and in halfpipe. And then you really wrap things up in locks. That's going to be the ending of that season as you go into the Olympics. So who will be the top 4? If I'm a betting man, and I'm not really a betting man, because every time I go to Vegas and I lose money, I get ticked off. But if I'm a betting man, Mark McMorris is my number 1 guy. Okay? Mark McMorris is my number 1 guy for Team Canada to represent in slopestyle come in Milano Cortina. So I'll say that right now. My number 2 is going to probably Liam Brearley. I feel like Liam Brearley, I think, is the number 2. I think he's a guy that will represent in the long run, stays healthy, gets through all the World Cup seasons. I think Liam has a good shot of being that number 2 guy. Number 3, that's a tough one for me. I'm kind of looking at Cam Spalding. I look at Eli. I look at Frank. And kind of thinking maybe that goes to Cam Spalding. Maybe he gets that next spot. So Mark, Liam, Cam. And then who's next? Is it Frambois? Is it Jobin? Is it Bouchard? That is going to be time's going to tell on that one, and we'll see how this thing plays out. All right, as we move on, U.S. Snowboard Halfpipe Team member injured in Switzerland. It's a story that I never want to cover, but it is something that's covered. She is a member of the Hydroflax U.S. Halfpipe Team. Sunny Alba injured, what was this? I think 2 days ago in Switzerland. A mammoth rider, 6 years representing the U.S. And shattered collarbone. This is according to her Instagram page. Shattered collarbone, dislocated hip is the story on that one. And not good news for her. But look, she's smiling. How does she come out of this thing smiling like that and not be all sad? And even her post, follow her on Instagram, sonora.alba. Follow her on Instagram. Even her post is upbeat. So that's what you need to do when you get injured and you got to deal with an injury. You got to do it the best way possible. And the fact is, since she's a halfpipe rider and we don't see halfpipe contested as a World Cup until the 3rd event, that could be in her favor, not knowing how much that is shattered on that collarbone and how long that's going to take to heal up. But you would think 8 weeks would be enough, possibly. Maybe it's going to take more. But thoughts and prayers going out to her. Reach out, follow her on Instagram. Once again, Sunny Alba, injured in Switzerland and not going to be able to compete right off the bat. We'll see how this heal up, and I'll keep you posted and let you know how things work out for her. All right, brand new Access Media Snowboarding. I'm Brad J, your host. We're just building. I'm just starting this thing out. It's going to be a long haul. Going to work it. I'm going to all the events. Going to be in the Olympics out there. Not in it, but I'll be at the Olympics. I'd be a little old. Maybe fencing could be something I could do. But we're going to keep it going. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications, because I'm going to be putting out that content and enjoy what we do. That's going to do it. Access Media Snowboarding. I'm Brad J, and I'll see you on the hill.